Hello and welcome to the first episode of the BMH Podcast. This podcast will discuss the visually impaired. We hope through our podcast we can learn more about this community, some facts or struggles in their life and how we could help them. Today we are grateful to invite the founder of the organization Hong Kong Blind Sports Federation, Ms. Grace. How are you today?
Fine, thank you. Thank you for inviting us to this interview.
So we'll start with some questions. Each of us will ask two questions. And so Howard will first start with the first two questions.
Okay.
Hello, Miss Grace. So for my first question, what is the purpose of this organization and what do you guys aim for?
The Hong Kong Blind Sport Federation has been established since 2008. Our main aim and objective is to provide equal opportunities to people with visual impairment to participate in sports training and tournaments so that they can integrate into society and lead an independent life. Our mission is equal participation and sports for all.
Okay, I see. So for the second question, do you think blind people or people with visual impairments should deserve more awareness in the public, or should the community know more about them?
Absolutely. I would say that people with a disability, not just the blind, should deserve more awareness in the public, especially blind or visually impaired people. The main reason is that most of them are blind during their adulthood due to either high fever, German measles, traffic or industrial accidents, etc. So once they have lost their eyesight, they cannot continue to work and lose their jobs. Their lives have completely changed from an independent person to a person who have to rely on their family members to look after them. With such a great change, they are reluctant to go out but prefer to stay at home, which have made them feel that they are useless. That's why I said that blind people deserve more awareness in the public, and the community should know more about their needs and the assistance required.
So we'll move on to the next two questions from me. So firstly, your organization aims to help the visually impaired. So what kind of challenges do you think they normally face in daily life?
Well, psychologically, visually impaired people would lose their self-confidence once they cannot see, especially in the first few years. They would feel that they are useless after becoming blind. Hence, they would not like to go out of their homes as they worry that people will laugh at them. So our challenges are how to convince our blind members to step out of their homes to join our sports training classes where they can meet their fellow blind members and sighted volunteers who come from all walks of life. As for the visually impaired people, the challenges they face will be how to take the sports training with the aid of our sighted volunteers. For instance, for marathon training, how they could run in harmony with someone whom they do not know before, and how to do the stretching exercise prior to the run when they cannot see the demonstration by the coaches, etc. It will take some time for them to familiar with their sighted guides and the marathon coaches in these respects.
Okay, so for my second question, so I would like to ask, what kind of challenges do you face when aiding the visually impaired in your organization?
Well, the challenges we face are mainly at the beginning. When the visually impaired people join our training classes, they have to face a group of people whom they do not know before. When they begin the training, they are not confident enough to do it well. So we got to know their strengths and weaknesses by observation. And the coaches and their sighted guides will have to provide them the moral support and encouragement from time to time so that they could have the confidence to continue the training. Once the mutual trust is built among the visually impaired members, the sighted guides, and the coaches, they will make great progress in the training.
Oh, okay. So apart from the different challenge that you guys are facing to help those people that have visually impaired problems, how do you guys assist them to face the community? For example, people that have serious vision problem can't really identify the money that they are holding, like coins. So how will you guys assist them?
It's a good question. The first thing is to train them walk with confidence in the community. We call it orientation and mobility training, so that they can walk independently with the aid of a cane to their destination by taking buses or MTRs. So this is the most important part. For coins, they can identify them by sense of touch, as coins have different shapes and sizes. So we will have to train them how to recognize those coins in different shapes. As for dollar notes, the Hong Kong Monetary Authority has made some special folders that can fit in different dollar notes so that blind people will know whether it is a $10 note or a $20 note or $50, $100, $500 or $1,000 notes. So it really has to take some training before they can identify the dollar notes and the coins.
Okay, so for the last question, is there anything that you guys suggest that we could do when we see people have visual disability in the public? For example, do we need to help those people who have serious visual impairment problems to guide to their destination, or are we actually distracting them, causing confusion?
Well, it all depends on if they are newly blind or blind for some years. If they are the former, they probably don't need your assistance as they are very familiar in the orientation and mobility to how to walk around in their neighborhood. But for the newly blind, they may need your help. So if you meet some blind people in the MTR concourse, you may approach them asking, do you need my help to bring you to the platform? That is just one of the examples to cite to you. Even if he or she does not need your help, they would feel grateful to you for your offer. So still, even though if they don't need your help, it's still a good thing to ask. However, if they need your assistance, then please use the sighted guide techniques to lead them. It is a very simple technique. If you like, we can actually conduct a sighted guide technique session for your students to familiarize with the techniques. But just to make it brief, when you offer assistance to the blind people, then you use your elbow to touch the blind person's arm so that he will put his hands on your arm, right? And then you walk together with him in a normal speed. Don't walk too fast, just in normal speed. And you walk one step in front of him. Then so that when you move, he knows that he needs to continue to walk. So he will walk according to your speed, okay? Then, just walk together with him until you reach the platform. From concourse to the platform, you may need to take escalators, right? So when you reach the escalator, please tell the blind person that we have now reached the escalator, which is going downwards, so that he can prepare himself to step onto the escalator. But if you escort them from the platform to the concourse, of course, you will have to tell him that, well, we are going up the escalators, so it depends on the situation. So this is, well, in brief, I can tell you that is the way how to lead a blind person safely and comfortably to their destination. Mm-hmm.
Then any more else techniques we can use, or is that just one of them?
Well, actually, there are more techniques for you to learn. For instance, sometimes when you meet a blind person in a restaurant, right? Maybe you bring a blind person to a restaurant, then you will invite him to sit down, but you have to really put your hands onto his hand and then show him where is the back of the seat, right? And then he know that, oh, that is the back of the seat. Then he know in which way he should sit down. Then when he sit down, you will have to tell him about, well, the food menu. Tell him what, well, this is the food menu today. What would you like to eat? And then if after he told you, then you will order it for him. And then when the food comes, then you will have to tell him where the food is located, right? Then in this case, you will use the clock direction to tell him. For instance, you can tell him that, oh, at 12 o'clock, it is the vegetable. At 3 o'clock, it is the egg. Or at 6 o'clock, it's the fish, etc. Just to tell him where the food is located so that he knows where the food is located, and then he can pick and choose whatever food he likes to eat. And also you need to tell him where the drink is located. Sometimes the drink is either on his right-hand side or left-hand side. Then again, you use the clock direction to tell him, you have the orange juice on your 2 o'clock, right, or 1 o'clock. Then he can stretch his arms to 2 o'clock and then get the drink. Okay, or maybe you can tell him, oh, the fork is on your left-hand side and the knife is on your right-hand side, etc. So these are the very, very often, these are the techniques that you will need to know when you want to help a blind person.
Okay, so I think we are actually done.
Also, when you lead a blind person to pass through a narrow road, then you will have to put your hands at the back, at your own back, okay? And then the blind person will follow you to stand behind your back, and then will follow you to walk straight forward. Because when you come to a narrow road, two persons together cannot pass through, right? Then you will need to use this technique. Okay?
Okay. So, anything else you would like to say?
Well, as the CEO of the Hong Kong Blind Sports Federation, of course, I would like to encourage as many people, especially students, to come forward to join us as volunteers, because our blind people cannot take the training without the help of the sighted guide. Just now, I mentioned about the guide runner for the marathon training class, but then we also have other training classes like bowling, like swimming, like darts training, or karate training, or golf training. All these training our blind people will require volunteers and require the help. So if we want to help the blind people and if we want them to integrate into society and be one of us, then it would be better if more of you will join us as volunteers. Then you can have the training together with them. And from time to time or during leisure time or before the training or after training, you can talk to them and share with them what you are doing. Like if you are a student, what challenges we have as a student, what we have learned today, and what are the latest news in the world, etc. And for some volunteers who are like teacher, then he will tell our blind people, share with them, today I have taught the Form 5 or Form 6 class students, and I met a lot of difficulties, and some don't understand what I teach them, etc., etc., etc. So our blind people would very much like to make friends with volunteers, with sighted people, as they very much want to know more about what's happening in the community, what's happening in the world. So if I may, I would like to make an appeal here to you and all the students of your school that if you could, at your leisure time, join us as a volunteer. Like marathon, actually, our training is in the evening. And some training, we are like tandem cycling. If you know cycling, then you can join us as, a volunteer. We have the tandem cycling that the sighted person sit in front and the blind people sit at the back. And it is a lot of joy for both the volunteer and the blind person, because during the cycling, you can share with our blind people what's the scenery pass by, like this the Xingwen River, and we see a lot of boats under training, prepare for the Dragon Boat race, etc., etc. Or now we have come to Taipo and we are reaching the Qishanji, etc. Just I think it's a lot of fun, not only for the blind people themselves, but also for yourselves. It's also meaningful to offer your assistance as volunteer. Then you will feel your life more fruitful, more enriching, right?
Then I think we're done. Do anyone of us would like to ask anything else?
Yeah, if you would like to ask any question, please do. I would be happy to answer it.
Then, so
I think it's well answered and explained, so I think there's no more questions to ask.
so
Actually, well, maybe I have one more thing to tell you. Our federation has from time to time conducted live education talks. So if your school would like to have this kind of talks, you can approach us. Like you can call Margie and she will arrange it. And we will arrange our blind students to go to your school and share with you their challenges and also the difficulties in training and also how they overcome them. I think it's a good kind of encouragement to both sides, because the blind people will feel that, I can share with my achievement, how I can become the first in a marathon run or second in a marathon run, etc. And so as to also motivate your students to maybe work harder, study harder to get better school academic results. You may think that Well, even a blind person who can't see can do so much thing and make so much achievement. Why not us, right? We can see the world. We are lucky. We have eyes to see everything. And why we don't make more efforts to study hard, to get a good academic result, so as to have a better life or to get a better job in future, right? So this is actually encouragement on both sides. So if you are interested, if any of your classes are interested to listen to live education talks, to listen to our blind people's stories, do let us know.
Okay, then I think we're done. So just to conclude, so I think communication is key for
Right.
sides.
Right, yeah. You have to imagine the blind people can't see. So you cannot say that, sometimes when you see something over there, you will say, oh, it's over there. But when you say over there, he doesn't know where. So you have to tell them, oh, it's at the upper left corner or 2 or 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock, etc. Right? So this you really have to bear in mind. Yeah.
All right, so we're finished asking the questions, and yeah, I think we're done. So thank you, Grace, for coming on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
It's our pleasure, and thanks for inviting us for this interview. And I hope the contents will be useful to you.